we're starting a little late. If we want to go ahead and get started, I believe we have the Convention and Visitors Bureau update first.
We do.
And if Brian wants to come on up and get that started. Thank you.
Commissioners, as you know, Brian's been busy in his new role for a while here, and those on the TDC or that watch the TDC get updates, but we thought today would be a good time to update on some of the activities that they've had and some of the progress that they've made. So, Brian?
Well, thank you, Barry. Brian Lowack, President CEO, Visit St. Pete Clearwater. And before I get started, you know, I get to come here and share the great work that we're doing at Visit St. Pete Clearwater. But it's not my doing, it's our team's doing. So while I would like to bring everyone over to introduce you to them, I did want to make sure I brought over some of our new team members, specifically in our leadership team. So joining me today, I've got Terry Tuxhorn, our Vice President of Finance and Administration, Jason Latimer, our Director of Public Relations and Communications, and Kylie Diaz, our Vice President of Community Engagement. They've been an integral part of what we're building over at Visit St. Pete Clearwater, and he's not here yet, but he may be coming in as we're getting going. But also Steve Grimes, who is the organization's first ever Chief Marketing Officer. We're working together as a leadership team to really elevate what we're doing over there, build the culture to push our destination into the future. So I just wanted to recognize them, and if you have not met them before, I encourage you to do so. So I want to talk about, this is a high-level overview, and I'll get into some details throughout the presentation, then give an opportunity to answer any questions. But, you know, who is Visit St. Pete Clearwater? Again, we're the destination marketing organization of Pinellas County, and we promote the destination to increase visitation, but more specifically, drive economic impact of tourism to Pinellas County. So people ask, you know, why do we do this? We do it for economic impact. Proud to present that we are not funded by the general fund. So we are funded from Visitors with Love. Our organization is funded through the Tourist Development Tax, which is paid on all overnight stays under 6 months in the destination. Now that is hotels, motels, RV parks, campgrounds, short-term rentals. They all pay into this bed tax. We're one of 11 counties in the state that is designated as a high tourism impact destination, which means we charge that 6% bed tax. And then the state statute dictates how these funds can be spent to promote the destination and invest in statutorily allowed projects. So, well, folks may have heard about Visit St. Pete Clearwater, the CVB, and the bed tax. What's less known is exactly what makes up our organization. That's our team. So I've got here, wanted to highlight, you know, under the marketing divisions, we've got advertising and promotions. They're really the ones that put together the strategy for the creative, where we're going to be, who we're going to be in front of, when we want to be in front of them, what publications we're going to be in. And that's with advertising and promotions, public relations. A lot of what we do is earned media. We just saw recently in advance of spring break, we had the opportunity, we were highlighted as a destination of choice for spring break on Good Morning America with Michael Strahan. Kelly Clarkson, they were on there talking about why this is the place to be for spring break. That doesn't happen by chance. That happens through aggressive pitching through our PR team. And then digital and data, everything that we do is driven by data. Again, I can't say it enough. We want to be in front of the right people at the right time with the right message, and where we make those decisions through our digital and data team. Business development, these are essentially all of our sales departments. So that's made up of meetings and conferences. They travel around and meet with associations and meeting planners to highlight our destination and drive those conferences, meetings here to Pinellas County. Sports and events. Caleb and his team, they work with collegiate sports, amateur sports. This could be, we recently had the women's college softball tournament here to kick off the season, and that was 3 or 4 days of 16 teams, top teams in the country competing in Clearwater. And so we've got the AAC, American Athletic Conference tournament, coming up to Clearwater in 2 months, I believe. But these sports and events really drive business to the destination, not only because the teams come and they stay in hotel rooms, the players, the teams, their family, but also then the fans on top of that, and even more so, the exposure that we get on TV to the destination. Film Commission, this has turned into a hotbed for filming in the destination. You've recently seen on HGTV, Rock the Block, that was filmed over in Treasure Island. That's HGTV's #1 show. Season 5, it was the first time they did a series on the water. So it's exciting, it's been great. We've gotten great coverage from that. If you haven't seen it, if you're not a Rock the Block fan, I encourage you on a Monday night to tune on HGTV and check it out. It highlights the destination well. Global travel, this is our leisure side of things. So we work both domestically in Canada, down in Latin America, as well as overseas in UK and Germany to really work with the travel trade industry to educate these folks on the destination. Then once they're educated on it, put together packages and sell packages to the destination to really drive that leisure growth. Community engagement. So we don't have a destination without our community partners, right? So it's critical that we work with them, our chambers of commerces, our hotels, our rotaries, our small businesses, work with them to really get our message across. Brand activations. Anyone going out to Valspar this weekend, as soon as you walk in gate 1, you're going to see a Visit St. Pete Clearwater tent and our team out there really bringing the destination to life at these events, not only to the locals who are there, but also the out-of-town guests who are there. You know, where do I go? Where should I stay? Where should I eat? They bring the destination to life. And then finance and administration. We do a lot of fun things at Visit St. Pete Clearwater. None of it can happen without our finance and administration team. Constant contracts, constant travel forms, they make it happen, and they're extremely critical to our organization. So when we talk about economic impact and driving that, what does that look like? In 2013, this is what it looked like. 15.8 million visitors, 6 million in hotel rooms occupied, $98 million in tourist development tax collected. That was a record. 1.6 billion in accommodation revenue, 6.5 billion in direct visitor spend, 11 billion in total economic impact, $421 million in tax revenues from tourism. What does that mean? Where does that number come from? That's $421 million combined from bed tax collection, sales tax collection, and property tax collection here in Pinellas County. And then 1 in 10 jobs, over 100,000 jobs in Pinellas County support tourism, #1 industry in Pinellas County. So who are these visitors that are coming to the destination? So top domestic markets are on your left: Orlando, Daytona Beach, Melbourne. We have a significant drive market audience, and so these are folks from within 500 miles of Pinellas County that come here as day trippers. They come here for the weekend, for long weekends. They come here multiple times a year to get away. But then you see the New Yorks, the Chicagos, Atlantas, Cincinnati's, Indianapolis's, Detroit's, and then around Pinellas County, the Bay Area is huge, especially with those day trippers for events. Who are the international markets? Canada, by far and away, is the #1 market. You'll see some additional numbers on them in a following slide. UK, #2, Germany, not far behind, and then LATAM and other European countries. So what are our marketing objectives? Really, our goal is to position St. Pete Clearwater as the #1 beach destination with vibrant cultural experiences in the world. And we do that through working the marketing funnel. And so we highlight our diverse culture and destination. You know, we're not just Pinellas County. We are 24 unique destinations within one county, and we want to make sure that we highlight that. We want to engage meaningfully to drive conversion. When folks are looking to, you know, maybe they search beach destination, Florida vacation, we want to make sure we get in front of them and they're picking Pinellas County as that trip. We want to increase that visitation and then increase that visitor spend once they're here. Where are these markets that we're doing this in? So on the right-hand side, you'll see little pinpoints, and those are our developmental markets as well as our maintenance markets. So developmental, those tier 1s, the Chicagos, Atlantas, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, and Detroit. We're in there heavy. There's a lot of opportunity, and we get a very significant bang for our buck in those markets. Developmental Tier 2, New York City as well as Philadelphia, we are there, but to a lesser degree than those Tier 1s because they're extremely expensive markets. And so we continue to work on marketing partnerships, activations in those markets to drive visitation to the destination. And then the maintenance markets, the Orlandos, Jacksonville's, Miami's, Nashville's, and Cincinnati, they know who St. Pete Clearwater is. We want to make sure we continue to stay top of mind for those folks looking to plan travel. And then those blue bubbles you see, that's our digital coverage. And so we're on digitally in a number of ways through there. We can get a ton of exposure through digital channels in a larger area. I put this up here. Pay less attention to the numbers because since I put this together, I actually do have updated closeout 2023 numbers. So the numbers are slightly different than what you see in front of you, but the story is still the same. You see on the upper left-hand side, that's our international markets, where folks are coming from internationally. So you see Canada up there at around 550,000 visitors last year, followed by UK, Germany, and so on and so forth. The second number that you see over there is a year-over-year comparison for travel from those markets. And then the third column you see is where we are in comparison to 2019, pre-pandemic levels. So the story there is we're always looking at this. How are we doing year over year? And then how are we doing in comparison to pre-pandemic levels? And so we're happy to say that on that, where are we compared to pre-pandemic levels? We are at or just below where we were, those record-setting visitation numbers prior to the pandemic in our international markets. It's taken longer for our international markets to get back, but they're back. And then on the bottom right-hand side, you see those top markets, origin markets where folks are coming from domestically. But this is the sort of data that we're looking at to drive all of our decisions. Again, more data. So this was a year-over-year comparison. This is our visitor profile. We conduct surveys with visitors when they're here in market. So this is coming straight from the visitor, and we keep track of things like, what's that distance in time between when a traveler decides to travel and when they actually arrive in destination. This is so important because we want to be in front of them with our message when they're making that travel planning. We look at how much visitors are spending while they're here. We look at the travel party size. That tells us about who our visitor is, how long they're staying, overnight visitors versus day trippers, the generational profile of our visitor. And then at the bottom, we have our average, the average household income of the visitor that's coming here. We track all this. I will never do a presentation without highlighting our From Visitors with Love campaign. And this is a campaign that we started last year to really highlight the value of tourism, and it's directed at our residents and business owners here in Pinellas County. And so people, you might think, oh, well, it's spring break. We've got a lot of visitors here. I'm going to stay off the road. Remember to thank those visitors because those restaurants that we go to, the beach that we walk on, those are funded from Visitors with Love through that bed tax collection. So you'll see on the bottom left, there's a sign there. That was recently installed at a number of our beach accesses, specifically in South County where we did the emergency dune restoration. We want to make sure to remind residents when they go to the beach that that sand that they're about to go enjoy was funded from Visitors with Love. And so in addition to those statutorily authorized capital projects that drive visitation to the destination, we also spend tourist development dollars on elite events. And so you'll see on the right-hand side, there's an image, and that is a stage wrap, actually, that we have. That was at John's Pass Seafood Festival from Visitors with Love. And want to make sure that folks know when they go to these things, these events drive visitation to the destination, but also our residents get to go and enjoy, take part of these events each and every year. Some of those events that I'm talking about this weekend, Valspar Championship up on the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. St. Pete Grand Prix just happened a couple weeks ago. It was a great day. I went home, I was at the race, and as soon as I got home, the first thing I did was turn on Peacock and watch the replay. The exposure that St. Petersburg got was incredible. Jazz Holiday, Sugar Sand Festival coming up, John's Pass Seafood Festival, super boat races. Those are the sorts of things that we use tourist development tax dollars for, and our residents get to enjoy those. I want to wrap up by talking about some of the things happening over at Visit St. Pete Clearwater. As I alluded to earlier, we've got a new leadership team. First ever Chief Marketing Officer, VP of Community Engagement, VP of Finance and Administration. We're in the process of interviewing finalists for the Vice President of Business Development. KPIs, we're enacting 60, it's actually 62 now, department and division KPIs to make sure we're only doing things that drive our mission forward, and we can track our progress on a quarterly, yearly basis to see where we need to allocate additional resources. Capital project funding program, that cycle is open. It's the first time it's been open in a number of years. We've recently had a community information meeting. We had a number of organizations come out and have signified their interest in the program. Application period closes May 31st. Staff will then go through and review those. We'll put forth some recommendations and bring those back in the fall. Incentive program evaluation. We have a number of different incentive programs, whether it's geared towards meetings, for sporting events, for our chamber partners, for film. We're going through and making sure that those incentive programs are achieving the results that they're intended to achieve. Chamber grants. Last year, you all supplied us with an additional $100,000 for our chamber partnership grant program. And so what we did with that was we opened up an opportunity to our chamber partners to say, what are some innovative ideas that you all have to highlight the destination, increase economic impact here from tourism? They came forth with ideas. We selected the good ones and provided those funds. Marketing committee, this is something we heard last year. We want to make sure that we're getting industry expertise specifically on the marketing side of things. So we're moving forward with a committee that is made up of our partners and their marketing professionals to meet quarterly with our marketing team to make sure we're all in alignment, we're rowing the same direction. Industry trainings, another one. Quarterly meetings, we just had our first one last month where we had frontline hotel workers come and we provided training on the destination. We know that when a visitor comes, the first person that they may see is the front desk agent. And they say, hey, can you recommend a place to eat? Can you recommend something to do this weekend with kids? We want to make sure those folks are well-versed on the destination. And then coffee chat with CEO. This was something I've heard that folks want more accessibility to St. Pete Clearwater. They want to interact, they want to engage, and so we're doing that with quarterly meetings. We put it out there, we have coffee, anyone's invited so long as they sign up, and we talk about whatever they'd like to talk about, and these have been extremely encouraging so far. So that's what I've got. There's so much that's going on at Visit St. Pete Clearwater, and hopefully I get the opportunity to share more with you all. The chair and I are working on opportunities to engage with commissioners more. So you're going to be hearing more about that very soon. And if you ever have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Commissioner Eggers.
Yeah, thanks, Brian, and great job as usual. And I'm glad to see you're getting your leadership team put together. I know it's been something that's been high on your priority list, so that's great to see. Two quick questions. One, on the year-over-year comparison, there seems to be this past year down a little bit on a lot of the numbers that I'm looking at here. Any thoughts as to what might be driving that? I'm talking about the number of average time that you're talking about making decisions, average spending as down, travel party size just down a little, percent stay, just a little. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so that's the million-dollar question is we're coming off of 2023 where we had the most epic year of travel here in Pinellas County ever, and we set records across the board. And so we were coming out of the pandemic, we were the place to be, and we benefited greatly from year-over-year growth. However, we do know that now the rest of the world's open, the cruise industry is open, folks are going to Europe, folks are cruising, and it's a competitive market right now. And so in order to remain competitive, we need to drill into those numbers and figure out, we just had a conversation yesterday with all of our agencies to figure out, how do we take this data and turn it into our future marketing? Where do we need to adjust? Do we need to adjust on things? So we're working closely as an agency to figure out a strategy moving forward with that.
And on that same front, it says average household income in '22 is 106, and that's 81. So again, there's probably more local visitors coming. I don't know. Just a interesting note. The other question I had was on the sporting event side, when bringing whatever age group, 30s and 40-year-olds that come here for softball tournaments, baseball, or youth. What are we missing out on out there? Like what kind of opportunities are we missing because we don't have facilities to match that? Have you seen some of those things that we've not been able to be competitive with because of a lack of facilities?
Yeah, I think there's opportunities there. You see some of the things that, Pasco County has done, and they've really gone all in on sports up in Wiregrass, and they've benefited significantly from some tournaments, practices there. That's turning into a sports destination. We see our friends to the south down at Lakewood Ranch and the competitive sport fields that they have there for tournaments. I think there's opportunities to expand on some of the facilities that we have throughout Pinellas County that are currently being utilized by tournaments, collegiate and amateur. But then there's some additional opportunities for new facilities as well.
Thanks, Brian. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Latvala.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Brian, for what you're doing. My question is about the domestic markets and specifically the Orlando market. Is there a way to keep track, or are y'all keeping track of how many visitors from Orlando that are coming here originated from somewhere else, whether it's out of state or out of the country, that are in Orlando on vacation that then drive over here?
Yeah, we do, and I don't have a number in front of you, but it's significant, right? Because so much of travel and success of a destination is ease of accessibility, right? And so that's through direct air service. And, there are, Orlando has direct service from some markets that we might not have over here in the Bay Area. And so that's a big hub, Orlando is, to the specifically the international markets. So they come over, that's the #1 destination, I think, in the world, right? So they come over to the parks, but then while they're there, they extend their stay and drive across to Orlando's beaches over here. It's a 90-minute drive, so it's easy for them. And we track that visitor, we go after that visitor, and it's an important part of our visitor profile.
Commissioner Justice.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Brian. One, the Rock the Block, we couldn't have asked for better footage than that. That is like, beautiful shots of the beaches and everything. It looks incredible. Just a couple of questions. When we're looking at that 98 million that we brought in, and I know that we expected the dip after the world got back to normal, we looked at long-term of what our lowest would be in the next 5-10 years, what we would expect that to be?
Have we?
Yeah.
Are you asking me for the lowest that the tourist development tax will go? I'm confident that, we are going to sustain growth here. I think everything that we see is, so we're kind of reversed this year from last year, where last year the first 6 months were through the roof, and then the second 6 months tapered off. And so this year what we're seeing is year-over-year growth in the first 6 months through about July or August. We're down slightly year-over-year, but then we turn the corner and we're up each month year-over-year. So I expect us to come in around that $98 million or above that again this year.
Okay. And have we, and I don't know, in your predecessors, I've never really talked about this, but have we compared our spending, our advertised budget with other organizations and destinations of similar size? around the state, around the country, to see if we're in the ballpark or if we're higher or lower, or, what we're doing in comparison?
Yeah, we have done that. I'm currently doing that, and sometimes it's not always comparing apples to apples.
Sure.
But, we're in the ballpark. I think there are certainly destinations that spend more. Certainly, we have a healthy budget. I think that, there's opportunities there, and we have data that supports with more what we could do. So there's an opportunity there.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're going to, we've talked about having another work session at some point to start to actually talk about the TDT breakdown. And because when it's close to 100 million, the numbers get a little easier, 60 million, 40 million, based on that 60-40 split. But we put that 60-40 split in when I think we were bringing in $35-40 million a year, and we wanted to make sure we had a lockbox of marketing dollars. But now that we're at 100, I'm just trying to get a feel from experts on how much is the right amount to spend for the size of our destination. I mean, we can't spend 100 million because we just can't hold that many people. But what is that right magic sweet spot of making sure that we don't drop below what our hoteliers need?
Commissioner, we agree with that, and Brian's really trying to assess what does that look like? Where's a reasonable amount? Because you don't necessarily just want to continue to build and find new markets and spend if it doesn't have a return on that spend. So they're not spending the 60% now.
Right.
It's going into reserves, okay? And so that's building up those reserves. But to your point, kind of reassessing these markets, we've been asked to be in the markets that we had kind of gotten out of. And so the question is, what's that right balance? You're going to see that going forward, and you'll certainly see that during the budget process. But we've asked them to kind of do an assessment of that and really come back to you with the justification for the dollars that they're asking for.
Yeah, I think it's just, to your point, those dollar amounts are only going to go up. We've seen now on the southern beaches, St. Pete Beach, if the developments that have got at least preliminary approval make it, the dollars in St. Pete Beach are going to, skyrocket comparatively for what they've been in the past. So I thought I had something else, but that's all I've got for now, Brian. Thank you.
And to highlight what you just said, Commissioner, again, we've got, the destination is evolving. So you've seen the growth and the transformation of Clearwater Beach over the last 10 years, over the last 3 years. And throughout the destination, from north to south, from Gulf to the Bay, we've got almost 3,000 rooms, new inventory that's coming to market in the next 2 years. So that's a lot more hotel rooms, and it's a lot more to market as well.
Any other questions? Commissioner Flowers.
Thank you. Just one question. Since, I know it's a little ways off, but since Brightline will be making its route from Orlando to Tampa, are we looking at perhaps entering into any conversations with them on the front end so that we can be a part of any traffic that will be coming from Miami looping around Orlando, and then certainly to Tampa, but they can make that little drive across the bridge?
Yeah, we certainly will be. Right now, the direct conversations aren't occurring, but we're keeping a close eye on it because that's something that's going to be important, and our visitors, both domestically and internationally, have expressed interest in. I get a lot of folks who, when I meet them, I tell them where the destination we're with. One of the first things they ask is, is Brightline there yet, or when's Brightline coming? So there's going to be demand for it, and it's going to be up to us to figure out how we capitalize on a stop in Tampa.
Thank you.
Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you very much, Brian, for that very informative report. My question or comment is, with St. Pete Clearwater Airport being driven mostly with the Allegiant Airlines, are you aware of any future expansion plans or what's happening within Allegiant that could help us with any new destinations or expanded service that maybe they're thinking about?
Yes. So what I'll say on that is Allegiant is an incredible partner over at St. Pete Clearwater Airport, and we work very closely with them on an ongoing basis to market routes, look at where visitors are coming from, what they've got in the hopper. I don't think you're going to see significant changes over there. What they have going on at St. Pete Clearwater Airport, it works. And it's a good business model. I do think there's additional opportunities in the future.
Right. For a future presentation, it would be interesting if we had somebody from Allegiant that could kind of talk about where they're going and what they're doing and just
So
give us
we're-
a business update with them.
On April 4th, we'll have PIE, so Tom will be in, give you your presentation, so you can ask him then.
Perfect. Thanks.
Okay, that's all? Do you have another, Charlie? No. So, I want you to elaborate on something else. So for several years, we were breaking records on occupancy, so the number of rooms, and that was during the pandemic. And then last year, we broke the record on the amount of tax dollars collected, but we didn't have nearly the occupancy we had in the years prior. And that was because of the inflation and the cost that the rooms were fetching. Now that housing numbers have leveled off the prices, and the prices are kind of coming down a little, are we seeing hotel rates coming down, or are we still at that high inflated hotel rate that gave us that record-breaking last year, which is hard to sustain unless we get that occupancy up? Because we broke that record not because of room rentals, it was the price that we were getting for the rooms. So we had a drop in occupancy, but we still collected an enormous amount of tax. Are those room rates flat? Are they going down, or are they staying at that high inflated rate, or do you not know?
Yeah, so that was a extremely accurate assessment. And as a destination as a whole, we're seeing those average daily rates remain sustained at the levels that they've been. On an individual property by property basis, that varies. And, what works for each property is what they're going to continue to do. And there's different strategies being utilized by different properties. But as a whole, our ADR remains high.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any additional, Dave? Do you
Yeah,
have, Commissioner Eggers?
just one question. Every time we talk about hotel rates, I think it's awesome what they get out there. I certainly can't afford to go out there, but I was thinking about like how our average resident in Pinellas County can plug in, and like sometime during the summer months having a pure Pinellas weekend where if where you show like you live here, that there might be a significant discount for a chance for people in this county to participate a little bit in what it's like at these hotels that are so beautiful, and they're the other 51 weeks a year, they're just open season for. Anyway, just a thought, because there's just unfortunately, they're out of the price range for a lot of people.
Yeah, and to your point, I think we look at those need periods, right? And our hoteliers know when those periods are, just as we do, and so they've got to get aggressive there. And many times, those need periods is when those programs are run and geared towards locals. They need folks to fill the rooms, so oftentimes you'll see discounts for locals specifically during that time. I'm happy to highlight again our value of tourism. Last year we started it. We had a great event on 727 Day. This year we're going to do it again. It's going to be bigger than last year even. And one of the things that we do in coordination with 727 Day from Visitors with Love is we work with our local partners, our hoteliers, our restaurateurs, our businesses to put together discounts and special offers only for residents. So that's what you're talking about. We're going to continue to do that.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, it's just a way to tap into people that want a little staycation. They don't have to go somewhere else. They could stay here. So, thank you.
Any further questions? I don't see any more. Thank you so much, Brian. That was really great. Next, we're going to go to surface water.
Okay, well, Kelly's coming up. So we had an update on the surface water utility rate, and you asked for us to come up with some various alternatives, and so we're going to kind of outline those, make a recommendation to you today, and give your direction.
Right. Brian is obviously a lot taller than I am. All right. Well, good morning. Kelly Hammer-Levy, Public Works Director. Per our meeting on February 29th, I believe, we discussed various alternatives to the surface water assessment. and you provided some excellent feedback in the area where you were looking to land. With that, we went back and we reevaluated how we might get there with modifying those rates even a little more. And so we came up with these 4 that would require an infusion from the general fund to help offset what we're losing in the reserve to keep that reserve balance. The first alternative is a 7% increase in '25, a 5% increase in '26, and thereafter 4%. And what that would look like is about in that first year, it'd be an $8.49 increase annually to the average ratepayer. Alternative 2 would require that 1.75 million infusion from general fund, and then it was an 8%, a 5%, and 4% thereafter. That first year, that 8% is reflective of $9.70 annually per ERU. Again, the average property owner would pay an additional $9.70. Alternative 3 with a 2.5 million infusion and 8% and then 4% thereafter, again, was the $9.70, and then the last one,
So
similar.
Kelly, when was this last increased?
We did a 3% increase last year from 117.74 to
But it was
121.
years before that, correct?
Years, yeah, it was like 15 maybe.
Yeah, and so it's been many years, and I think one of the, we heard from commissioners over the last couple of years too, that you would rather see really, small increases rather than, these large ones. This is another one where we went 15 years without an increase, and so this supports all of our maintenance, and so we looked at this and we understood that the 12% was just too much in 1 year. We looked at our year-end closeout, and our year-end closeout we're going to be bringing back to you, and I think Kevin, it's in the neighborhood of $33 million. So we'd be using some of this, some of that closeout money to offset and put that money into the surface water utility. That enables us to kind of smooth those rates out and sustain that without having a large, too large of an increase or a less of an increase in that first and second year over what was originally proposed. So we thought this was, it's dollars that are available. It would be out of the general fund into the surface water utility fund, but it's a way of smoothing out those rates. So we wanted to show you some alternatives, get your feedback, and then based upon that guidance, we'll roll this into, and we're still working with legal and stuff on how we have to put these in, because this is ad valorem. It's a little bit different in terms of structure, but we'll come back to you and incorporate this within the budget.
Commissioner Eggers.
Yeah, I was looking at alternative
Yeah,
3
those
and 4, and it looks like it takes $1 million to buy down 1% in the first year. So I'm looking at that. So there's a corresponding general fund reserve number that goes along with that, and what that percentage is with that new policy that we did last year. So I'd like to see how that compares with this stuff, because I'm going to say it again, when we went through the property tax thing, which again, we increased property taxes, insurance rates are going through the roof, and utility rates, not ours, I'm talking about mostly the Duke Energy, are just going crazy. So when you start talking about 7 and 8%, I mean, it's a lot better than what we were talking about before.
Yes.
It's still high.
Yes.
People still are feeling like, when's this going to stop? So anyway, I just would like to just get that kind of that trade-off of buying down more of that first year percentage, and how that messes with our general fund.
It's not going to mess with your reserve levels. We're going to recommend that, for instance, we've got some capital projects that we're going to want to do, but the excess of that, we're going to recommend go into, again, it's a recommendation to you, we're going to recommend to go into our new campus, because we've got a lot of costs coming at us, obviously, and so it would be dedicated reserve towards new campus cost, and then that, obviously, the more money we put into that, the less we borrow, so that's where we would look. So it's not going to affect our overall reserve levels, is my point. So you could increase it. It would just lower the amount that we would then put into the campus.
And that borrowing in the campus is going to be a bonded borrowing, I'm assuming,
Correct.
for a number of years.
Correct.
Intergenerational sharing of that.
Correct.
Okay.
And it'll probably be a phased approach, depending upon how we come up with the construction, so it may be over successive borrowings.
It'd still be good to know if we go to a 4% in '25, that looks like it's another $3 million, and what that does in our overall plan. That's all.
Okay.
I don't know what it looks like.
Okay.
So it'd be nice to see.
Okay.
Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, my question was going to be more or less what Commissioner Eggers answered, but I would like to buy down as much as we can to try to smooth this out and make it as easy on residents as we can. But my question to you, Barry, is are there any other funds out there that we haven't touched in 15 years that maybe, are there any other landmines out there? we
Every
don't know
time
about?
I tell you that this was one of the last ones and something pops up, and this was one that popped up. So we're really trying to keep these rates, it's no, I absolutely understand your direction in terms of me making these smooth out. The reality is, our cost increased over that 15 years. We just didn't increase the rates, and then that's the reason you get a big rate all at once. So, but we're trying to keep those up to date. I've asked the same question. It's a big county with lots of different, fund sources. I think most of them are up to date, and we continue to look at them. Chris isn't here, but that is a direction that we've provided them, and I hope so.
Any other questions? No? Thanks, Kelly, appreciate it.
Thank you. I did drop off at the meeting, you had asked for like a one-pager that kind of highlights our annual accomplishments. So this obviously is, we didn't put all since 2013 what we accomplished, but these are like annual averages of what we accomplished. I want to thank Communications for helping us get this out there. And I have it on the overhead if you want to pop that up. And then the story map that goes along with it that looks at it every single year will be on our website here shortly. So all of that information is available to the public so they know, what is being funded with their dollars.
Okay, Commissioner Eggers.
Yeah, the surface water fund, the large capital is funded from Penny, correct?
Correct, penny for Pinellas. The only capital out of this was a dedicated about $2.4 million a year for the corrugated metal pipe replacement program. Other than that,
And that
it's
comes
penny
out
for
of the
Pinellas.
fund.
Correct.
Talking about. And that's been pretty steady
Yes.
that way?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks again. And Barry, we're going to move on to the agenda briefing.
Okay, onto the agenda, we have a National Community Development Week proclamation and a partner presentation from Habitat for Humanity. We've got various reports. Back over to item number 12, unless there's any questions in between. This is a ranking of firms. This is for Quest Ecological. This is for that portion of the Crossbar-Albar property consulting services. And there's a breakdown within your packet of the task, ecological management. Questions? Item 13 is an MSTU for Ozona Village Hall improvements, $18,782 for flooring and refurbishment and exterior painting. Item 14 is grant award, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for our health care for the homeless program, $1.9 million. Item 15, special purpose survey. And it's a right-of-way on Fisher Road. This defines a right-of-way and is done as part of the roadway and drainage improvement project. Item 16 is an agreement between Pinellas County and St. Petersburg College. These are your ARPA dollars that you approved for the Fire and Emergency Medical Services Training Center that's run by St. Petersburg College. Item 17 is an amendment number 1. This is for the E911 trust funds. So the award was reduced by 870 or 800. I wrote over it. So $800 or $900, and so we have to modify our award based upon the reduction Item 18 is issuance of a certificate of public convenience and necessity for a helicopter ambulance service. Item number 19 is an agreement with Gallagher Benefit Services for our employee benefits. So we're switching to Gallagher from Willis Towers Watson, and hopefully we'll get, I think, better response in terms of our health care. They advise us on our health care and benefits program.
Under item number 20, this is a request to initiate litigation in the referenced case. This is a matter that was investigated by your Office of Human Rights and is an allegation of housing discrimination on the basis of disability. Item number 27, another request to initiate litigation. This one's a little bit unique. This is a suit that we are proposing to file against a local veterinarian and his business who has participated in the animal registration program and failed to remit the funds to the county. So we intend to file suit to try to recover those funds for the county. Item number 22 is a confidential settlement. I did pass around the folder. I think each of you have had a chance to read it at this point. If you have any specific questions about it, I encourage you to talk to me after the meeting. And under 23, I do not anticipate having any reports on Tuesday, but do want to remind all of you that my office will be effectively closed this afternoon.
Item 24, I will have a report. Item 25 is an appointment to the Historic Commission by Commissioner Justice. Item number 26 is an appointment to the Technical Management Committee. We had a staff change, and Robert Mills was appointed over to our sustainability, and I forget the name we called it, Asset Management and Sustainability Group. And so we're replacing him on the Technical Advisory Committee. On to public hearings. Oh, actually, first we have a presentation for the Clearwater for Youth Scholarship presentation. Item 29, this is a zoning change, unincorporated Tarpon Springs. This is a parcel that will be used for proposed uses for boat storage. LPA recommended approval unanimously. Item 30 is a future land use map amendment from preservation residential low to residential office, and this unincorporated. It's a companion item to item 31. The property is currently used for recreation boat sales, and they intend to use the property for the same. They did hold a community meeting because it abuts up to residential. Approximately 30 citizens attended. LPA voted unanimously. One person appeared in opposition, and 4 letters in opposition have been received. And Glenn's here if you have any questions. So, item 31 is a request for zoning change. This is mobile home manufacturing. This is a conditional overlay on 3.7 acres. This is the companion item to the one before. So this does have a conditional overlay. So it'll establish certain conditions that are greater than the minimums, and those are listed within your packet. Item 32, this is our form-based code. We have to readopt this because we missed a deadline to sending it to the state, so we have to do a redo. Same thing on item 33, this is our form-based code. Item 34, this is an amendment to the Land Development Code, Chapter 134. So, hang on. So item 34, this item is clarifying the development review committees, that they're a review body composed of staff instead of a voting body. This change will actually help us in making it a more collaborative approach when we're developing the application. So they then now can provide early assistance, collaborate with the applicant, and after the DRC meeting to maximize their time on trying to be issue resolution oriented. So that's a recommendation on a modification of the land development code. Item 35, this is a stormwater manual peer review. They put forth 18 recommendations categorized into 3 groups: immediate actions, code updates, and areas requiring further research. So this action enacts 6 of the recommendations. For example, it provides greater flexibility on a single-family residential site larger than 1 acre by increasing the pervious surface not to exceed 25% of the site instead of the current requirement of 10,000 square feet. So 7 recommendations will remain, and staff's researching those. So it requires it has a number of staff modifications. Again, the things we briefed you on before, trying to make our the code. We're making process changes. Now these are code changes to try to make our process easier to navigate. Questions? Okay. Item 36 is a resolution. This is what we were talking about before. This is a 2004 budget of unanticipated revenue for capital projects for the first Surface Water Transportation Fund. And do you want to, why don't you come up and provide an overview, and that way we can kind of go through these rather than me try to go off of memory. So Chris is out ill, so Drew's gonna do a replacement.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Andrew Brown. I'm the Capital Budget Manager within the Office of Budget Management. And essentially, this resolution that we're going to bring forth to you on Tuesday of next week is composed of 3 parts. First, we conducted a thorough review of all the ARPA projects in anticipation of the December 31st, 2024 obligation deadline. And there were a handful that we didn't think would meet that obligation deadline, and so we're going to reallocate those funding to projects that we think will. And so that's the first part. The second part is we calculated $33.8 million that Barry had mentioned earlier of additional general fund balance at the end of fiscal year 23. And we are recommending that be used for one-time projects that include deferred maintenance, the centralized campus, as well as that surface water utility fee infusion.
Now, our earlier conversation, you're wanting us to increase that. If we want to increase that, we'll take that out of the dedicated reserves if you pass this today. We had recommended it at the $3.5 million. I thought I had heard consensus when I briefed you on it individually. But if you want to put an additional amount later when we come back and show you that information, we can simply take that from reserves to be able to do that.
Any question?
And then the final one, though, that I did want to point out is the $4.9 million for capital for the Reddington Fire Station. So that is a planned project, been a planned project for some time, has a long history. We've actually assigned that over to Madeira Beach, and they're project lead on that now. And so we're trying to do a true up to be able to make that project happen. It's been through a number of design changes. We're changing, we've got the design at the 50%. We're assigning that over to a different firm, and then Madeira Beach is actually going to project manage that to its completion.
I'm sorry. Do we know what the location of that? You're going to need your microphone.
Do we know what the location is going to be, Barry? I know they've changed it around several different times.
Not off the top of my head, but we can get you that.
It's the same location, which is, do you know? It is the same location, but I can't answer that. But yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And Commissioner Eggers.
Yeah, go back to the recognized $33 million in unanticipated fund balance. What does that mean?
That means that's our part of our closeout. So we, out of a very large budget, we anticipate revenues coming in at a certain amount, they came in higher. We anticipate expenses coming in at a certain amount, it came in lower, which a good, budget person will do, and that's the difference between that. And so that then becomes free money that we're then using to fund up capital needs and also to push over to our campus.
Okay. Again, there's a certain amount that needs to be in place for our policy on reserves.
Correct.
There's a certain amount that you want to set aside for the new building.
Well, we'd like to set as much as possible for that,
I'm
but yes.
saying, that has nothing to do with this.
Well, it does, because some of this money would be going for that campus.
To the capital projects?
To the
Is that-
capital projects on the campus.
For the new campus? Okay.
Correct.
So it's
We're not increasing our reserves, which are truly our reserves. These are funding up projects that otherwise we wouldn't be able to get to, and the remaining going to the utility fund and over to the campus
So
fund.
that's the extra above the 20.8% policy?
That's correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure that there wasn't other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so you'll see in there, there's a number of capital needs out in the sheriff's office, out in there, that are not funded. And so when we get a year-end closeout, we look at that, look at the needs, and try to match those and make recommendations to you regarding those expenditures.
And you'll bring those back to us as they come up?
Those will be, if they're at a certain level, yes. I mean, depending upon the expenditure, whether it's an individual. They're broken down in the packet though, right?
They should be.
All 33 million?
They should be. If not, we can provide more detail, but we have it detailed, yeah.
We have a very detailed on where those projects, all those.
It's in here?
expenditures- I don't know, I haven't looked at the agenda.
Okay.
Is it attached?
It's in the packet?
It should be,
Okay, great.
attached to the packet.
Thank you.
Any additional
And-
questions? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Those are the three parts.
And that concludes the agenda, Commissioners.
Okay, well, that was quick. So there's also, Kevin, if you'd come on up, I want to, some stuff is arising with CareerSource, and I think it's worth this board getting an update on what's happening, what's going on, where we stand, and what's next. So if you wouldn't mind kind of giving us an overview of what's happening, what kind of has gone on, we can, and then maybe have a discussion if we feel there's a need to.
Yes, ma'am. Kevin Knutson, Assistant County Administrator, and I'm also on the board of CareerSource Pinellas, and I'm associated with the Transition Committee that's working with Hillsborough on the merger between the two career sources. And the next couple of steps that are coming up is that we have a consortium meeting on April 2nd, and the consortium is made up of 2 board members from Pinellas County, Commissioner Flowers and Commissioner Latvala, and 2 commissioners from Hillsborough County, Commissioner Myers and Commissioner Wastel. That committee is the chief local elected official for the new merged entity. We currently, you as a board, have a separate CareerSource organization, CareerSource Pinellas, that will go away. You are the chief local elected official for that CareerSource board. The new board will be appointed by the consortium. And at that meeting, we're going to bring bylaws that we're recommending to the board to adopt for the new local workforce development board, and a slate of officers that have agreed they're willing to serve on that new board. So that's the next steps that are coming up. We're also currently doing a CEO search through CareerSource Tampa Bay, who's leading that project because they lost their CEO. And so we're going through trying to identify who will lead the new organization once it's combined.
Could you explain to me the consortium, does that, and so the consortium is what this board makes the appointment to, correct?
Yes, ma'am. So this board will appoint 2 members on an ongoing basis. I don't remember the exact term. I think it's every year that it comes up. There are 2 members from this board who are assigned to represent the county.
Okay, and so that consortium stays as a permanent entity.
Yes, ma'am. From now on, that will be the chief local elected official representing this community, so the entire region, to the state.
Okay, and so, and they have oversight over this new board that's going to be created?
Yes, ma'am.
So the people that, that I appointed to CareerSource, they're that consortium. That consortium stays on an ongoing basis.
Yes.
And then you're creating a new board. Can you explain to me how you're getting those board members? and where they're coming from and how we did it in the past.
So in the past, we would bring recommendations to this board, and you would appoint members to the local workforce development board, which is CareerSource Pinellas. In the future, those same recommendations will go to the consortium, who will appoint people to that new WorkSource board. What we've done in the interim is taken members from both of the different boards, CareerSource Pinellas and CareerSource Tampa Bay, who fit the categories that are necessary to meet the federal requirements, and make a recommendation to the advisory committee that the consortium set up to assist them, which is made up of board members from both CareerSource Pinellas and CareerSource Tampa Bay. Those lists were created by staff at the CareerSource organizations only from the existing board members of CareerSource Pinellas and CareerSource Tampa Bay.
Okay, so weren't the CareerSource board members gubernatorial appointees last year, not BCC appointees? In the past, I believe they were gubernatorial appointees.
In the period since I've been here, that's not been the case. It's only been this board who makes those appointments. It may have been in the past.
So this board will no longer have that responsibility. We'll no longer be picking board members for CareerSource.
That is correct.
So the people that will be picking board members for CareerSource will be the two people that this board appoints to the consortium.
Yes, ma'am. That's exactly it.
Okay. And then on that board, that makeup of that board, that the consortium is going to vote to instill and install, that's a makeup of what?
There's 35 people in total that are on that. 18 of them are business representatives, and then the remainder come from education and local government.
Okay. And so local government meaning cities or county?
It could be either. The reason that that's flexible is because, for instance, on the Hillsborough side, the city of Tampa has expressed interest in being able to appoint somebody from time to time. So it'll either be somebody from Hillsborough County or somebody from one of the cities. We traditionally have appointed someone from economic development to fill that role.
Okay. Commissioner Eggers.
We're starting to look into the makeup of a merged MPO board, and that's driven by population and percentages and all of that.
Right.
How is this balance?
In the agreement that we made with Hillsborough County, it is balanced 50-50 for the first couple of years. We wanted to make sure that we were equally represented as we start to make decisions about how the new organization is actually constructed. In a few years, we'll look at rebalancing that to be by population, but that's something that will be 50-50 as we begin.
That'll be an important phase.
Yes.
In the merged MPO, for example, no one county will have a majority say. So between Pasco and Pinellas, you'll have more than what Hillsborough will have, and that's going to be an important thing as we come together, so that there's always a check and balance. So I'll be real curious to see how this unfolds when you start going by population between two counties, them being much larger than ours. So.
Well, the other thing that we agreed to that was no funding that came from the federal government for Pinellas County would be used in Tampa Bay and vice versa. So the investment that the federal government is making in our community based on our population will remain in the county.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? So, I mean, I understand that consortium stays forever. So there's two members of this board that are picking who's going to be on that board.
Yes.
And that was the setup by the legislature? Is that how that was set up?
Yeah, we determined through the interlocal how many members would be on that consortium, but the idea of the consortium was required by the new structure.
Okay. So they've kind of taken that away from us. And I guess the only thing that concerns me is you've got very few people determining who's going on those boards. And we've had some pretty bad experiences in the past with some of these boards and board members that have been put on them, you know, and staffing and such. And so do you feel confident that's the appropriate oversight? Because I'm not sure that the consortium is going to be enough oversight to ensure that something that's happened in the past won't happen again.
I understand your concern, and I share it. Legally, I think that is who makes that decision. One of the things we've recommended is that the people who are identified as being potential board members come from the counties. So economic development in Hillsborough and economic development in Pinellas would do the research find people and ask them, and then recommend that to the consortium.
Okay. So, so that board has not been appointed yet,
No, ma'am.
and it's the consortium that's going to do the voting on who's going to be on there.
That is correct.
But,
But it hasn't happened yet.
Well, it hasn't happened yet, and remember, our members will represent Pinellas when they're making that decision. There's nothing to prevent those members coming back to this body prior to making those recommendations, or making those decisions. So, you know, and I think you want to talk about the staff process to get there, and
Sure.
how you're going to modify that from yesterday?
Yeah, so what we initially did is we asked the CareerSource leaders at both sides to identify board members who would be appropriate to fill the different slots. One of the things that I personally did not pay attention to and inadvertently allowed to go through was they also identified a methodology for selecting which of the consortium members would be on the board. Basically saying, we have 4 consortium members, 2 of them are officers, and the other 2 would be the local workforce development representatives. We should have left that blank and allowed the consortium to make that decision. It did go through. The other members are all taken from the workforce development boards that exist today.
But it's still open because it's still their decision.
It's still the consortium's decision on.
It's still the consortium's decision.
Absolutely.
Okay, so nothing is solid and gold at this point?
That's correct, and Kevin's
Right.
going to withdraw that recommendation.
Okay, and, all right, that's what I wanted to hear. So then the consortium's going to debate that out, and they'll determine who's the right person on each county to serve on that board?
Yes, and that will happen April 2nd.
April 2nd, okay. So at this point, that hasn't been determined?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, does anybody else have questions about how this new thing is going to operate? Not yet, not yet, no questions yet. I think there's going to, what I would ask is the 2 consortium members that you keep us up to date on how it's going. Commissioner Flowers has been really good about keeping us up to date on CareerSource as it was ending and how T-BART has been ending. And I think what I would ask is that the 2 of you continue those communications with us so we see how it unfolds and how it's going, and that kind of would be greatly appreciated. And I'm glad you're kind of taking that off the list so it can be debated properly with the consortium.
Yes, and I apologize. I should have saw that early on, and I should have taken care of it then.
Okay.
But I will do it now.
All right, any other questions? Commissioner Scott? Okay. I think you're done, Kevin.
Thank you.
Quick question. The money that we received back from T-BARTA, I think it was $132,000, is that going to require a budget amendment as well?
Chris isn't here. Probably not. I got to even check whether that come out of the Transportation Trust Fund or whether that was out of general fund. I believe it might be out of the Transportation Trust Fund, so it would just go in as a revenue source to them.
Okay. Commissioner Eggers?
Yeah, just real quickly, the Oldsmar Chamber of Commerce is having their trustee lunch today at 11:30. The sheriff's going to be the speaker, and I was just told they have 2 spots. If you'd like to go, that would obviously be on them for lunch. So if anybody is interested, let me know, and I'll pass your names to them. If not, it's okay. Thank you.
All right. Does anybody else have any updates or anything they want to share? Okay, so we'll have the updates on Tuesday, and with nothing else, we'll have this meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.